of all the statements that have been made about Charlie Kirk's passing by people from the opposite side of political views from Charlie Kirk. This moment right here is Dean Withers learns of his death after spending over an hour online talking about the shooting and talking about this because he had a friend there that was going to debate Charlie Kirk. After an hour of that, in this moment, Dean Withers learns that Charlie Kirk is dead. And Dean is not a friend of Charlie Kirk's. He stood across him and fought him in many heated debates and discussions that did not share the same views. But this reaction right here gives me hope. And I hope that those that have been spewing hurtful, insensitive, senseless comments about Charlie Kirk to somehow justify their feelings in this moment and give some sense of weight to their feelings and importance to their feelings. I hope they hear this and are touched by this. I want you to hear what he had to say.
Charlie Kirk has passed. Just confirmed 2 minutes ago by Trump on Truth Social. Doesn't deserve that, man. Him and his family, they don't deserve that. Listen. His kids don't fucking deserve that, man. His wife and children were in attendance, dude. Imagine, imagine being a 12-year-old, watching your dad fucking die. Nobody deserves that. Not even Charlie Kirk. Nobody deserves that. I see a handful of people saying, maybe you should take a second in the stream and whatnot. I kind of want you guys to see this. I want you to see how I feel, because there's so many people in here right now, and I want to, if I can, set the tone for what the public's response to this is. Gun violence is sad. Gun violence is life-altering, not just for the victim, but for their family, their friends, their loved ones, everyone that they care about. And if you want to claim to care about ending gun violence, then you can never celebrate it. It is so sad. It is so wrong. It is life-altering. And, yeah. And, even though, of course, I don't like the guy, but I still talked to him multiple times, sat down with him, talked to his manager. That was somebody that I had sat across the table from. That's somebody that my best friend Parker had to watch die. Parker was 20 feet away from him. Oh. No. I think the world needs more compassion at points. God. I think what's really just pulling me down right now, and really making me struggle is knowing his kids were there. That is gut-wrenching. That is so gut-wrenching. Forever gut-wrenching. Only had to watch that. We had to take a moment of silence there. I'll put a statement out, collect my thoughts. Oh, guys, this is just a bit to deal with. Now, I'm going to make this last point incredibly clear before we end. I'm going to take some time off for a little bit. And I'll have a video up later about this as well. You'll be able to find it on my TikTok, my Instagram. You'll be able to find it everywhere. I'm just going to collect my thoughts and then make a video. Gun violence is sickening and wrong. And last statement, if you celebrate this, if you don't condemn it, if you're happy, there's a clear line between me and you now. You are not a fan. I do not support you, and I do not want you to support me. If you claim to be an individual who wants to end gun violence, then you are contradicting your values to their core if you celebrate it. And if you see anybody celebrating it, happy with it, okay with it, please call them out. Please call them out. And I don't know of I don't know how long it'll be until I come back and do debates. I just have a lot to go through, mentally speaking. Regardless of the fact that, he was Charlie Kirk, Republican MAGA, that is still a human, a person that I met, that I spoke with, had conversation and debate with. That is somebody who has kids, somebody who has a life. That is somebody who has a wife. And it's also somebody that my friend Parker had to watch die right in front of him 30 feet away. What happened to Charlie Kirk today, this will probably be it for me. What happened to Charlie Kirk today is abhorrent. Truly abhorrent. This has to stop. Nobody deserves to be a victim to violence. Charlie Kirk is a victim to gun violence. His kids are a victim to gun violence. His wife is now a victim to gun violence. Parker and everyone else who witnessed this in person was there is a victim to gun violence. This is fucking disgusting. There's so much evil in this world. And today is a stark, bleak, morally abhorrent reminder of that evil. God. I'm going to go ahead and sign off.
This right here. People on social media are calling out Republicans. People are calling out Democrats. People are calling other people that this is how empathy is really displayed. And I say, I don't care what party you're on, what views you have. This is true empathy. He didn't try and justify any negative emotions or justify his hatred towards Charlie in this death. some commented in other videos that Dean did that Charlie wouldn't cry if it was Dean. Charlie wouldn't say such things about Dean if it was Dean that died. I call that projection. You don't know. If you listen to Charlie and you saw what he stood for and lived for, and how passionately he fought for Dean's right to say what Dean wanted to say, just can't even possibly be true. It is true of you. Because you're not crying over Charlie. You're not mourning Charlie's death. You've drawn a line. You claim empathy, but millions of people yesterday showed unadulterated apathy towards Charlie, towards half of a country or a third of a country that believed as strongly as Charlie did in certain views. This was a shot, not at Charlie. This was a shot at Dean, a shot at Harry Sisson. This is a shot at you, whoever you are. This is a shot at you and your freedoms. Even the freedom to say the most asinine and insensitive things that some of you have been saying in social media the last hours after his death. He died so you could be an insensitive, intolerant, apathetic commentator. You claim empathy. This was empathy. He didn't justify his feelings before mourning the loss of a significant person in today's politics. You don't have to agree with someone to know their significance, what they stood for. Charlie defended Dean's right and others' rights to go out and passionately debate. He invited it. He encouraged it. He didn't have to agree with him. I sure as heck didn't agree with him on most things. But I did love the passion he brought to the stage. I loved that he fought for our right to talk and to communicate in an increasingly divided nation. He wanted to bring us together to talk through, and maybe even argue through, key points that mattered. That's what was killed yesterday. At least that's what a shooter attempted to kill yesterday. But that heart, that debate, that eternal American strength to stand up for what we believe, that will live on. Charlie's death is unfortunate, but it is not the end of us communicating with each other. It is not the end of us sharing our beliefs with each other. It is not the end of us disagreeing passionately with each other, hoping to come to some middle ground. Find a better way to express your disagreement than actual violence. Show love and empathy towards others. I had someone have the gall the other day to say so much for what Jesus taught as I defended the existence of Charlie Kirk and what he tried to accomplish and put people together and getting discussions going. Jesus taught to pray for enemies and pray for those that despitefully use you. Indeed, if anyone was an enemy or was feeling as though someone was despitefully using them, Dean could say the same to Charlie. Charlie could say the same to Dean. But here we have Dean essentially praying for Charlie. And if it is not in your heart right now to mourn with a nation, and you feel the kind of anger and hatred that you project or projected on Charlie now, days ago,